A very good afternoon and welcome to Africa Today. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. First, let's talk the headlines. On the headlines, INEC spits fire over allegedly buried PVCs. Togo Army regrets killing 7 teenagers. South Africa smuggling of rifles results of gun violence. And on sport, Kenya loses bid to host World Athletics Championships. Now the news in detail. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has described the last 12 years for the country as challenging, considering the different security threats that have been confronting it. This was according to a statement by his Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu. The president spoke at the graduation of 247 students of the Senior Course 44 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, Kaduna State. The statement was quoted as the president appraising the ongoing Nigerian military forces of Nigeria, Cameroon, Niger Republic, Benin Republic, and Chad in a multinational operation to combat the Boko Haram insurgency in the Lake Chad region. Earlier in his welcoming remarks, the commandant of the college, Air Vice Marshal Olurotimi Tuashe, explained that 111 Army officers, 69 naval officers, 42 Air Force officers, 10 students from paramilitary organizations and ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as 15 international students completed the 48 weeks intensive training, leading to the award of Past Staff Course. Away from that, the Independent National Electoral Commission, that is INEC, has expressed fury over the viral video of a large consignment of permanent voters' card, that is PVCs, allegedly buried in the compound of a highly placed personality. The electoral umpire made its stance on the matter known in a press statement on Thursday by the National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voters Education Committee, Festus Okoye. INEC said it had commenced investigation into the incident and vowed to severely punish anyone involved in the act. The commission is presently in Osun State for the gubernatorial election taking place tomorrow. And now the Academic Staff Union of Universities, that is ASU National President Emmanuel Osodeke, said the union is not aware of the 1.2 trillion naira that the federal government of Nigeria said it would need to meet its members' demands. He also accused the Minister of Labor and Employment, Chris Ngige, of misinforming President Muhammadu Buhari about the ongoing strike by the union. The federal government of Nigeria had in a statement on Wednesday by the Deputy Director, Press and Public Relations in the Ministry of Labor and Employment, Olajide Oshundu, claimed that the proposal made by Nimi Briggs-led committee in the relation to the demands of members of ASU and other unions of the universities would gulp 1.12 trillion naira to implement. It will be recalled that Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari had earlier demanded ASU leadership and its members to return to work when he met with some northern governors in his hometown in Daura, Katsina State on Monday, July 11, 2022. Reacting to the president's statement while speaking in a television interview, Osodeke said if the president had been properly briefed, he would not have made such a statement. Meanwhile, the chief whip of the Senate, Orji Uzo Kalu, had urged the federal government of Nigeria to reopen negotiation with the leadership of ASU. Away from the story, still updates coming from Kuje Correctional Centers shows that the Nigerian Correctional Service, that is the NCS, has said it has recaptured 421 inmates that fled its facility in Kuje, Abuja, while 454 others are still at large. According to House of Representatives Committee on Correctional Service, this is just as the committee said it had summoned the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, and Comptroller General of NCS, Haliru Nababa, to appear before it over the recent attack on the Kuje Correctional Center. The committee also invited the commander of the Nigerian Army platoon on duty on the night of the attack. Chairman of the Committee on Correctional Service, Edwin Anayo, who disclosed this during an oversight visit to the facility on Thursday, said the lawmakers met 115 inmates. Anayo decried that 12 other custodial centers had been attacked across the country recently, saying that the recent jailbreaks by gunmen leading to the release of inmates are worrisome. The inmates, including 69 suspected Boko Haram members, had escaped Kuje Medium Custodial Center on Tuesday last week after members of the Islamic for West Africa Province, that is ISWAP, attacked the facility. You're watching Africa Today on Hills TV. When the news returns, news from other parts of Africa, do stay with us. Welcome back. Ivory Coast President Alassane Ouattara met with his predecessors on Thursday in a rare meeting of adversaries in an effort to ease the nation's social-political climate ahead of elections in 2025. The meeting between Ouattara and his longtime rivals Laurent Gbagbo and Henri Konan Bedi is the first of the three leaders in person since the end of the 2011 post-election crisis that killed at least 3,000 people. It took place at the presidential palace in Abidjan behind closed doors. The former presidents expressed their gratitude to Ouattara for the meeting. Government spokesman Amadou Coulibaly said the meeting is part of recommendations for political dialogue between the government, the political opposition, and civil society. Ouattara last met with Bedi in November 2020 and with Gbagbo in July 2021. It defeated Gbagbo in the presidential elections, and Gbagbo's refusal to concede led to months of clashes between their supporters. Ouattara ultimately prevailed and has been the president of Ivory Coast ever since. We'll now take you to Togo, where Army has expressed its profound regret for killing 7 teenagers on Saturday night, which it mistook for jihadists. In a statement, the Army chief, Daja Maganawe, said that the group had been killed when they were attacked by an Army aircraft on night patrol. All the victims were aged between 14 and 18, and media in northern Cevennes region reported that the teenagers were on their way home from celebrating the Muslim holiday Eid al-Adha. The Togolese army has been on high alert following the country's first deadly militant attack in May, when 8 soldiers were killed near the border with Burkina Faso. When you move to other parts of Africa, when we return, do stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Africa Today on Hills TV. Night curfew has been imposed in Gambela city in western Ethiopia as part of efforts to control illegal activities. Authorities had this to say as the city was last month a scene of violent confrontations between the government and 2 armed groups. The Oromo Liberation Army, that is OLA, and the Gambela Liberation Front have controlled parts of the city for hours at the time in what the former called a joint operation. Government forces managed to regain control on the city after intense fighting, with reports indicating at least 40 people were killed. Officials say calmness has returned to the city in weeks since the curfew is now an indication that things are still volatile. The move prohibits any movement of individuals and vehicles between 8 p.m. and 5:30 a.m. local time, except for security forces and ambulances. A night curfew was imposed in another major city in western Ethiopia, Asosa, the capital of Benishangul Gumuz region, earlier this month. Western Ethiopia has been a hotbed of violence in recent months, with growing reports of civilian killed and ethnic minorities being targeted by armed groups. And now let's go to South Africa, where the rise in gun violence crimes has been attributed to the smuggling of high-caliber guns like AK-47. According to Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime, there has been reports that there are about 3.8 million unregistered illegal firearms in circulation in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe. Illicit guns and ammunition are a currency in the underworld for gangs, mass shootings, and wildlife crimes. According to Gareth Newham, Institute of Security Studies, head of Justice and Violence Prevention Program, a sad difficulty in South Africa has been it to hire out high-caliber guns like AK-47. Meanwhile, unknown shooters opened fire at a tavern in Soweto, killing 16 people on Sunday. South Africa's Minister of Police, Becky Cele, said the police are working towards clamping down on illegal acquired firearms. Even as sadness of the bereaved South African families were palpable, in Soweto on Thursday, they had gathered for the memorial service for the 16 people killed in a mass shooting over the weekend. Under the marquee, erected meters away from Tavern, where the incident occurred, the grieving family called for justice. Meanwhile, advocacy group Gun Free South Africa believes that the solution to the country's gun violence is far-fetched. And now we go to Morocco, where hundreds of Moroccan firefighters and soldiers battled late Thursday to put out at least 4 infernos ripping through forest in the north of the kingdom. According to official statements, the fires, fanned by strong winds in the 4 areas, have not resulted in any casualties so far, but nearly 500 families were evacuated as a precaution in the provinces of Larak and Tazar. Several villages that were evacuated also saw military planes dropping loads of water to extinguish fire tearing across the dry terrain. A village in the Sa El Khaber region was destroyed by the flames. Hundreds of civil defense workers, as well as soldiers and police officers, are trying to stop the fires from causing more destruction. Meanwhile, Fouad Assali, head of the National Center for Forest Climate Risk Management, confirmed that 4 provinces, including Larak, Ozen, Tetouan, and Tazar, had fires rip through forest lands that is difficult to access. Up next is business news. Do stay with us. It's time for business news on Africa Today. Nigeria has been ranked 123 out of 146 countries on the 2022 Global Gender Gap Index and moved up 16 places from 139th ranking out of 156 countries in 2021. The Global Gender Gap Index measures access to resources and opportunities in the countries. According to the World Economic Forum, the report had that On the average, Nigeria is ranked 123rd on the list, but on economic participation, the country sits at the 50th place. In terms of political participation, Nigeria is ranked 141 in the world. On health and survival, 70th. And in educational attainment, the country is on 134th spot. Nigeria is also ranked 27th in sub-Saharan Africa, and according to the report, it will take more than 100 years for the world to reach full gender parity. Away from that story, we have that the federal government of Nigeria has approved the sum of 400 billion naira under the National Poverty Reduction and Growth Strategy. The approval for 2022 was made by the governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule. Sule had spoken with State House correspondents on Thursday after a meeting with the National Steering Committee on NPRGS at Aso Rock in Abuja to review the implementation of what was approved in the budget. This covers certain welfare schemes, which include government enterprise and empowerment program, conditional cash transfer, farmer money and market money. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari had in 2021 set up NPRGS headed by the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. Sule further noted that there was also another 50 billion naira to be reserved for various other programs, such as Ministry of Agriculture for rural roads and renewable energy like solar. And this is a bit of Africa Today. Up next is sports news. Do stay with us.
Good afternoon and welcome to Sports News and Africa Today. I am Aidnan Lubem. Now to Sports News. Super Falcons will make their ninth appearance at the Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand next year after they edged their Central African rivals Cameroon 1-0 in the quarter-finals of the ongoing 2022 Women Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. A thumping header from the outstanding Rashidat Ajibade inside the box off a delightful cross from Ifeoma Onomonu in the 56th minute secured a hard-fought victory for the reigning champions, who face host Morocco next in the semi-finals on Monday. It was Ajibade's third goal in the tournament, making her the top scorer ahead of Morocco's Ghizali Chebak, the Atletico Madrid forward, who also has 4 assists to her name, had earlier scored against South Africa and Burundi, and she shared her excitement as she gave thanks to God.
And for taking us into the semi-finals, and also out of our goal to win the tournament and also to qualify for the World Cup. And it's one down, so it's we're going for the next one. So glory be to God Almighty.
The win is the Falcons' 6th in their last 6 meetings with the Lionesses and their 54th at the competition, which further boosted their hopes of landing a 10th WAFCON title. In line with the Falcons' victory, President Muhammadu Buhari has showered his congratulatory messages to the Nigeria's female football team, Super Falcons, after the team qualified for the Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand in 2023 in their emphatic quarter-final victory at the ongoing Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Buhari's message was contained in a statement signed by his special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina. The Super Falcons, who are record 9-time tie holders and defending champions of the tournament, triumphed 1-0 over Cameroon on Thursday night. And that's sports news on Africa Today. Back to Peace for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Aynan Lubem, for the sports news. And now to the rest of the news. Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema has honored former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo with the country's highest award of the Order of the Eagle. Hichilema decorated Obasanjo alongside his counterparts, Liberian Helen Sirleaf Johnson and Sierra Leone's Ernest Bai Koroma, with the most prestigious award on Thursday in Lusaka, alongside where the colorful ceremony was held. The special assistant on media to the former Nigerian president, Kehinde Akinyemi, said that the honors were contained in the government official gazette, which was made available and was signed by the acting secretary of the cabinet, Patrick Kangwa. Reacting on behalf of the awardees, Obasanjo said the honor would serve as encouragement to do more for the continent. And that's Africa Today, but before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that INEC has spat fire over allegedly buried PVCs. Togo Army expressed regret over killing 6 teenagers. And in South Africa, smuggling of rifles has been a result of gun violence. On sport, Kenya loses bid to host World Cup's Athletics Championships. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV, Instagram at Hills TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hills TV. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. Thank you for watching.